Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and today we are talking about Nano Dimensions NNDM stock, and in this video, we will be going over the positive bullish points and negative bearish points as to whether right now is a good time to buy more NNDM stock, or even to buy any NNDM stock at all. Firstly, we will be discussing the fair value of NNDM stock, what catalysts are approaching that could cause the stock price to spike, what Nano Dimension stock could be worth in the future, and what the risks of investing into NNDM stock are right now. Then lastly, we will discuss why NNDM stock is potentially overvalued and what is an ideal average price to have for current owners of Nano Dimension stock that should make long-term holding much less risky. Remember to go and press that like button right now for more Nano Dimension stock news. Comment your thoughts down below, turn on subscription notifications if you are new, and now let's make you some free money with Webull. Webull is a free brokerage app where you can buy and sell stocks, options, and cryptocurrencies, but right now you can get 2 free stocks with Webull. You can get the first free stock, which can be worth anywhere from $2 to $250 for just creating an account, and you can get a second free stock, which can be worth up to $1,600 if you invest $100 or more on your first deposit. You will have a 1 in 100 chance of getting stocks like Facebook, Starbucks, or Snapchat, and you have a 1 in 50 chance of getting stocks like Google or Procter & Gamble. To get this offer, just press on the link in my description box down below, but do it quickly because this offer will not last forever. And without further ado, let's get into today's stories. Nano Dimension stock is currently trading at around $8 a share, and if it breaks above the $8.23 mark, the stock could surge all the way up to $11.50 or even to $15.50 if it goes past $12. But right now, Nano Dimension has seen some very positive price action recently, even though their revenues are down 58% quarter over quarter to $811,000. However, NNDM has increased their research and development spending by 119% to create even better 3D printing technology, which will not hurt them because they still have over $1.4 billion of cash and cash equivalents on their balance sheet. This extra research funding has allowed them to create their Dragonfly LDM 2.0 system, which is now being sold or freely given as an upgrade to certain customers, which will improve ink utilization, printing quality, and print uptime. It's really nice to see a company invest in themselves, especially in research and development, just like Nano Dimension is doing, so they can create new and better technologies for their customers. If you are currently an NNDM stockholder, or if you have been following my channel since I first reported on Nano Dimension when it was just a penny stock, it has been a wild ride so far. But if you are waiting on the sidelines right now, it might be a good time to jump in, or if you have already bought in at a really high price, that's okay too, because it's not a loss until you sell it, or if you don't sell it, it could always turn into gains later on. So right now, I'm going to break down the bullish points on Nano Dimension, saying that it's a great stock and it has very good long-term gain potential, and then after, I'm going to go over the bearish points, saying that it might not be a good stock to invest into, at least at this current price point. So I want you to hear both sides to see what you think, and then you can make an educated decision whether to average down your price, get in and buy more, or just enter the stock to begin with. Nano Dimension has been lower than $3 and higher than $17, but most investors have a higher Nano Dimension average price because they were chasing gains. But when the stock swung back down to $5.53 on May 13th, that was an opportunity to buy at a very safe place. But even if you own Nano Dimension stock at $17, since Nano Dimension has a CAGR of almost 30%, in a few years the stock could be way past that price. If we pair that with NNDM scaling revenues and projecting that they will become profitable in the next few years, along with the fact that they have the only technology in the world that can do what they do, along with a balance sheet that has over $1 billion on it, you should be fine long term, even if you have a $17 average price. Now here's the bad news. You are taking on hyper risk if Nano Dimension makes up over 5% of your portfolio, and if you have an average price for Nano Dimension stock that's over $5.66, because that is the actual fair value of the stock right now. Now the risk could work out for you very handsomely, but for me it's not worth the opportunity cost of other investments to where all my money is tied up into a single stock. Now, with that being said, the good news is that you are at very little risk of Nano Dimension going out of business because of their loads of cash that they have on their balance sheet. Also, because of this cash, they have a cash to debt ratio of 425.97, which ranks them better than 92% of stocks in the hardware industry, which is absolutely amazing. Now, it is absolutely no surprise to me that Nano Dimension ranks very highly in terms of financials, but this is where it starts becoming bearish when we start talking about profitability. Typically, a company with high profit margins is much safer than an investment in a company with lower profit margins if quantity is equal. And over the last 10 years, Nano Dimension has not been profitable. Plus, they have a loss of 0.878 cents a share and an operating margin loss of 1,192%. This would place them in the bottom 10% of their industry, but this does not mean that past performance will dictate future performance. So Nano Dimension can always become more profitable, they can always scale their revenues, and it could work out in the long run. But now let's talk about company growth, and normally companies that grow faster create more value for their shareholders. The bad news here is that Nano Dimension's revenue growth is down almost 70%, which ranks them again in the bottom 10% of their industry. But the good news here is that their 3-year average EBITDA growth is around 76%, which ranks them better than 97% in their industry. So right now, we kind of have a mixed basket of Nano Dimension ranking better than 90% of the other companies in their industry, and then we also have two categories where Nano Dimension actually places in the lowest 10% of their industry. So let's see if we can have a tiebreaker here, and that tiebreaker will come in the form of their return on invested capital and their weighted average cost of capital. Now, without going into detail about what both of these are, basically we want the return on invested capital to be much higher than the weighted average cost of capital. But sadly, this is not the case because the ROIC is negative 136.52, while the WACC comes in at 15.32. In summary, Nano Dimension at this current time seems to be overvalued based upon the current metrics as long as their price is above $5.66. However, the financial strength of Nano Dimension and their growth ranks them better than 90% of their peers in the hardware industry, so the future still looks very bright for Nano Dimension. So this is how I'm playing this stock. I will not buy it directly until it hits its fair value price again, which it has hit a couple times. Otherwise, I will continue to hold it in an ETF to lower my risk of overexposure while still receiving the gains if it ends up surging, which I think it will in the long run. But what do you all think? Remember to leave a like right now, comment your thoughts down below, remember to subscribe, and I will see all of you in the next YT video.